Very quick one, guys, before we start. Blender Bros is on Patreon, so if you'd like to support us, the link is in the video description. Many thanks to everyone that already joined us over there. Thank you, guys. Hi guys, Ryu here with Naravit for Blender, and today we have a typhoon in Tokyo. It's a bit rainy, gloomy, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's really depressing, so I thought, what could I do to finish myself off? And I thought that, well, how about a vanilla tutorial? This should do it. So here we are without add-ons. Well, I do have two add-ons. Actually, no, I lied, one add-on. Machine tools, because you need machine tools. Now, if you do not have the Blender set up the way I do, go ahead and watch my video for the beginners on Blender, and I show it, how it's done there. In this video, we're gonna be basically modeling. So let's remove this junk and Shift A and add a cylinder. And before we continue, let me enable screencast keys. Right, now R, Y, 90 to rotate it. And before we do that, actually, let's increase the number of vertices. So one more time, add cylinder, because you can only change it when you add a cylinder to a scene. So let's change it to 100, yeah, in this menu. And now we can rotate it. So RY 90. And we're going to think, right, go to edge mode and R, click, right click. And so how you do this is Control R, and then you click, and then you can move it. But if you right click, you're gonna, sort of drop it in the middle, yeah? So Control B, and we're gonna scroll the mouse wheel to get a bit more segments and make it more or less quad-like. More or less, this is not quad-like. This will be more quad-like, right? Cool. Now let's go to top view and orthographic with 5 on numpad. Select this middle bit. And this is not really in the middle, is it? So, what kind of? This one is, right? So let's expand this with Control Plus, and what we're gonna do is simply expand it, like this. But before we do it, we're gonna press O to enable proportional editing. So when I press S, you can see this kind of like a circle, and when you can make it smaller or bigger, you can change the fall off of this proportional editing and create something, bulging like this, like a sort of bursting cylinder, yeah, more or less. We're gonna press E to extrude it, right click to cancel, and we're gonna turn off the proportional, pressing O and Alt S to scale it down. So just move your mouse down and scale it just a little bit. If you struggle with the precision movements, then simply hold Shift and go to edge mode and Alt click, and then Shift Alt click these two edges, and Control B, scroll your mouse to get a chamfer. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to smooth it out with Sheet Smooth, and then we're gonna go here to normals and Auto Smooth. Beautiful. Now let's chamfer this side here. So Alt click and dissolve edges, Alt click and Control B to chamfer. And now we're gonna go to top view. In fact, not yet. Let's go to side view here, face, and I for insert it in, E, drop it in, and basically scale it with S. Okay, so with this shape, what we're gonna do is we're gonna select these faces. Okay, and maybe 3 faces in each direction. So somewhere here, like this. Press W 3 times and hold Shift and select these. And if you go outside, just hold Control. It's the reverse, yeah. Press W, Shift D to duplicate it, and P, and make it its own selection. And now we're gonna add some solidify modifier to it. Hold Shift and just scroll a little bit. Don't make it too thick, yeah. Just just a bit, kind of like that. Cool. Now let's add an empty and make it larger. And we're gonna add an array modifier here to this one. Okay, so array modifier. And the offset gonna be based on object offset. So expand this and grab this color picker and select the empty. Now it doesn't work because the empty was actually resized, yeah. So we need to apply the scale, right? And now something weird happened. Fascinating. So let me see this. Let's apply rotation here. There we go. And then if we rotate this on x-axis, you can see that we can rotate it around this wheel. So hold control and spin it, you know, on x-axis. So basically RX and hold control like this. Okay. And then we're gonna go back to this item, and we're simply gonna increase the count of this array to, well, not too many. Yeah. How many? I don't know if 6 is not too many. Let's try this. Yeah, that's probably too many. How are we looking? We're not looking too bad, actually. We're not looking too bad. It's not amazing, but it's kind of cool, actually. I like it, kind of paneling. So you know what? Let's stick with it. So let's add a mirror, see how we're looking with a mirror. So we're gonna add a mirror, and it should actually mirror automatically to the other side, because mirror is by default on X. Also, we're gonna add a bevel, because bevel is important, and bevel needs to be somewhere here probably. We could go with hardened normals, and so go to shading and turn this hardened normals. The bevel is too big, you see, it's a little bit crazy, so hold shift to make it a bit smaller. Yeah, just a tiny bit smaller, yeah, like this. And also we need to change this from none, the method, to angle. It's gonna affect all the edges above a 30 degrees angle. So okay, that looks good. Now let's grab this to local and let's go to edit mode. And you know what? We're gonna apply this solidification because reasons. So go to solid mode and apply, because you cannot apply modifiers in edit mode. And we're gonna grab these edges and we're going to bevel them. Okay, so Control B and bevel, and we're gonna reduce this bevel to something a bit less crazy. Let's make it like this, okay? And the reason for it is that because I want to introduce subdivision modifiers. So let's select this edge with Control all round, yeah. But make sure that you're selecting the right thing. Need to select the edge around this this geo, and the same thing in the bottom. So Shift and then click with Control, yeah. Hold Control and just keep clicking till you go around here. Right click and go to edge crease and press, you know, sort of move your mouse to the right until you see factor 1, value 1, and then we're gonna press Control 2 and we're gonna get at this beautiful subdivision modifier. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this subdivision above the bevel, yeah. Okay, and this should solve the problem. We have some issues in here because it's an angle, right? This is an angle here. So what we're gonna do is, let me see this, GG and move it somewhere here, and GG and move it somewhere here. Okay, same thing here. So GG, GG, move it somewhere here, go to the other side. This is fascinating. Let's press 3 with machine tools. It's gonna clean it. There you go. This is cool. And this is cool. Okay, and everything is cool. Now, because we have this, let's go back here. Because we have this thing, and also let's save it because reasons, right? Now, what I want to do is actually grab this bit in the middle and, you know, select these two and expand it, and simply duplicate it to its own selection. Press P to separate it to a, you know, the individual object, and we're going to solidify it. So let's add solidification and make it a bit thicker, okay, and also a bit narrower. So SX, and scale it a bit on x-axis. Okay, it's going to be a bit more interesting in the middle like this. Okay, perfect. We're going to leave it for now. So let's also apply a bevel in here because reasons, and let's go with harder normals. This should do, and also change from none to angle, not weight, angle. There we go. Perfect. We started to get somewhere. So now we need some grooves on these wheels, right? So now remember we have this subdivision modifier, so we can have some fun with it. So let's actually create something cool in here, right? So let's go with some grooves in here. I don't know if this is gonna be a good idea, or maybe we could go like this, you know. Wait, let me think. And then 4 and 2, and then 4 and 3, and then 4 and 2. This could be cool. And then press I to insert this and basically extrude it like this, right? And Bob's your uncle. And now it's your tires. And you could actually make it a bit more, you know, a bit more harsh, a bit more edgy on the edges. So what we're gonna do is select here edge loops, so boundary loops, which will select all the loops around, and we could actually go with edge crease. So when you increase the edge crease, you see they're gonna become a bit more rigid, or like a bit more harsh. You could, you know, adjust this crease amount to your liking and make it a bit less crazy like this, you know. This is pretty cool, actually. I like this. Okay, so that'll do. And now we need to create something more interesting in here, because boredom, right? So well, first of all, what we could do is, you know, copy this to the other side. So we could introduce a mirror here. So grab a mirror. Now we got this mirror going on, so we could actually flip it. We could use this empty, you know, so to bisect it and flip it, you see, across the same empty, because it's a circle, so it doesn't matter. So that's that, and we see we could introduce some, you know, interesting shapes in here, right? So how about we're gonna grab a cylinder? So let's maybe introduce some loops in here first, yeah? So let's introduce maybe one loop, okay? And we're gonna split it, and we're going to split it like this, all right? Something like this. Okay, guys, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to actually use this shape here to create a boolean, okay? Or, yeah, that's the best idea, I think. So let's grab this. Is it symmetrical? No, it isn't. That's symmetrical. Shift D and P to its own selection. Grab this one. Go to local, and let's do something like this, right? And let's remove the bevel because reasons. And let's select these and Control B to bevel this, okay? Now we're going to actually array this, but let's create a different empty so we don't get confused. Sphere in this case, and not delete. Alt A and scale. Control A and scale, and we're going to array this. Not bevel. Array this. And offset this based on an object here on this one, and turn off this relative, okay? And we need to apply the rotation, I think, here. So Alt A and rotation. Come on. There we go. And now if we rotate this, we should get this result. So hold Control and rotate it by maybe 30 or something. Let's see this now. Let's add a count here. So one more, 6 maybe. Yeah, this will do. This is actually pretty cool. Okay, so now let's apply the array. Okay, let's apply the array. Now let's see this. Let's GX and move it in, and select this one and Control minus. Now we got some serious issues in here, and the problem probably is the geometry underneath. So when I go to this main shape and select this, and let me show you, these lines probably are way too close. So we're gonna go to side view, okay, the other side view here, orthographic, go to edge mode, crop this one and simply scale it up, but remove this, press O to remove this proportional editing, and we're gonna scale this with shift a little bit up, and this one, yeah, we're gonna scale a little bit down, so S, and scale it a little bit down here, and now we should have this nice cuts. Now this one doesn't want to get cut, so what we're gonna do is simply rotate it RX and just rotate it just a little bit to shift the position. Because probably something is causing issues here. So now it's okay. Now let's move this bool tool somewhere here. Remove this bevel because reasons. And let's just apply this, okay? And we're gonna bevel this from scratch. So we're gonna add a new bevel. And we're going to set it to 3 segments and set it to angle. And let's see what's happening here. Yeah, well, these edges are way too close. Way too close, these ones, yeah? So select all these and just simply dissolve them, because they will not help our situation, yeah? There's a flat surface in here, so we don't really need them. So let's set weighted normals. Or in fact, what we could do is go back to harder normals, to sheeting, and harder normals. This will fix the problem. And this bevel is a bit too small, so we need to make it bigger. So let's go to geometry and turn off clump overlap, and we need to, you know, fix it a little bit now manually. Okay, so hold shift and fix it manually, and there you go. So this should do. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's save it. Now what we could do is select all these and shift G and parameter, and we could inset it just a little bit, yeah, like that, and extrude it outside. So GX, extrude it outside, and go to side view, the other side view, there you go, and select these faces one more time, shift G, parameter, deselect this one and simply scale it, but you change here to individual origins and scale it like this. Let's make sure that nothing else gets scaled, only these ones, yeah. Shift 2 to remove cutters. Also, let's move these buggers to cutters because they're bloody confusing, right? Oh, we don't have cutters. Okay, let's make cutters then. So let's select all these and M and new collection, and collection 2 is fine. And shift 2 to turn it off. Let's make the middle part here, okay? So I to inset and, you know, E to extrude. And basically, let's chamfer this, make it really aggressive, right? And scale it in like this. Select this one, Control B. Cool. Looking good. So now we could have some fun here with screws, right? Because, you know, wheels need screws. So let's grab a screw. So cylinder, and but 100 is craziness, so let's make it 34 or something, and RY90 and GX, move the bit here, make it smaller like this, okay, and really small, and, you know, move it somewhere here. So GZ and move it up, and GX and move it outside, and we need to smooth it out, and we need to add auto smooth. And let's see how we're looking. Let's grab this one and introduce a loop in here, okay? That's the first thing we should do, alright? It's important. Another loop should be running somewhere here. This is gonna be a Boolean disaster, I can tell you already, but it's gonna look cool. So this one also needs loops, so, you know, loops, yeah? And GX, move it in. And then what we need to do is grab an empty, so another empty. Make it bigger and apply not rotation, scale. Select this one and the radius again. That thing is so much easier with hard ups. It's like a one-click, guys. This you know, array is just too much hustle in this, you know. And let's just rotate it. Does it work? Is it working? Apply rotation. Should work now. Is it working? Not really. Let me see this. Let me go to local. What's happening here? This is offset now, right? So, oh yes, we didn't apply it to, right, we didn't select the object. And then we need to apply scale. And we need to apply scale to this one. There we go. And something is off still, so rotation. apply location, and now it should work. There you go. Lots of hustle, guys, lots of hustle. So let's do this, hold control, and then select this one and just increase the count. And simply select this one and control minus. And this should do. So move it to collection 2, not this one, just the kata, yeah? And how are we looking here? Bevel. We need to move this Boolean, right, above the bevel. And also we need some weighted normals here, that's for sure. And then you need to clean up all this mess, which is a disaster, by the way. So bevel could be a little bit smaller. Probably would help a little bit. That's too small. Something like this. And then, you know, when you apply this Boolean, you need to we need to clean everything up, right? So let me show you how would I clean it up, okay? So let's apply the Boolean and let's just see. GG, I probably would move it a little bit outside here, outside this bevel parameter. These I just can go, we don't need them, they're just gonna cause problems. We should have removed them earlier on. If you remove them from the cutter, they would not be in here, so we need to remove them from every single bit. I'm not gonna do it, just too much work, but you get the point, right? So if you remove them from the cutter, that's my mistake actually. I should have sort of, you know, check if everything's alright. Stuff like this here, you know, that's important. These are all, you know, caused by bevels. So for example, this one is causing this shading issue here, you see. This one, I don't know, let's press 3 and clean it. That didn't do anything. These ones, there's simply verts too close, and there you go, it's done. So it usually has something to do with bevels here. And how closely verts run to bevels if they because there's a bevel here, see that? It's invisible because it's not applied yet, so it means you have 3 segments here running through, but you cannot see them. If I apply them, you will be seeing them on this edge. So that's what's happening here, right? Now, what you could do with this one, right? You could apply some screws inside. We could do it with Master Xeon's inserts. GG, move it in here and probably combine these two. This edge is not required, so go. And so on and so forth. Now you have to clean it up all the way around, especially now when you see shading issue like this, you know, this just gotta go. Because if it's inside, you know, it's possible, but stuff like this, you know, when you can see this, right, this gotta go, you see. So this one is causing issues. This one is too close, so there you go. Same here, probably too close. GG, move it down, there you go, solved. And you gotta move around and fix everything. I'm gonna fix this one too because Jesus, and there you go. It should do more or less. And this one maybe too. Just really quickly, so from outside looks decent. If this was a quad workflow, I think it would be suicidal. For real. Okay, more or less, yeah. So now we're gonna go to, we don't have inserts. Oh, bugger. You can grab the free version of keytops and inserts, but fine, we're just gonna make a screw. So let's grab a cylinder and let's bring it somewhere, I don't know, somewhere here, and let's make it smaller and rotate it and see if it's, you know, if it fits. So go to side view and we're going to align it with this little thing here. So in fact, you know what we can do? Select this one, go to phase mode, select this, shift S and cursor to select it. Select this one and selection to cursor, and you can align it perfectly in the middle here, see? So now we can create some screws, right? So right click and shade smooth, and here, auto smooth, right? And we can just simply, add some, I don't know, chamfer to it, and maybe drop this one in here and insert it like this, and just have some bolt, right? Just to add some interest. In fact, we could combine, oops, these face, not this one, these faces with an edge. Sorry, these verts with an edge and these with an edge. Okay, and we could, let me think. In fact, we could combine these as well. So make this one face and make it smaller. Right, like this, and extrude it. So it's kind of like a, screwish thing. And we can bevel this as well. Go with one segment and harden normals and switch to angle. Then you're done. And all you need to do now is simply, we can use this one, I think, as an offset. So apply array here and change from relative to object. Select this empty and apply the scale of this object and rotation and location, and simply adjust the number of objects, and you're done. Now let's bring this one to collection 2, and we got ourselves a sci-fi wheel, which looks pretty badass. This one could be chamfered, by the way, a little bit. Chamfers are actually interesting things. They bring a lot of interest to the design. So this one is a bit boring, so we could do something interesting with this one as well. I mean, the middle bit, yeah, this one. It's still running on solidification, so we could, simply apply this solidification, right? And maybe select these, okay, and then check our deselect. It's gonna do it on one side, I think. Oh no, on both, but it's now, actually this is pretty cool. So let's maybe insert them in sort of E and cancel and Alt S, and maybe drop it down a little bit like this, yeah. So it's gonna add some interest here, and we're going to run a bevel on it, so. And of course, harden normals. How are we looking with this bevel here? Well, we're not looking too hot, it's probably too big. So make it a bit smaller like this. You're gonna have some faceted effect because what? Sheet smooth is not on possibly, or simply is getting, the bevel is set to none, so change to angle, you should be fine. There you go. Alright. And that's our cool sci-fi wheel design. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the vid. Give us a like and sub if you did. Tons of links to add-ons, very useful add-ons in the video description, so if you want to, if you want to have a look, check the video description. By the way, we forgot to mirror this thing, right? So let's add the mirror, and we're done. Well, that's it guys. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one.